Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 9 of What If Naruto Was an Emotionless Ghost. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune for the rest of the what ifs coming your way. And also guys, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Same Age as Itachi over on Anime King. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, as Naruto was currently in the office of Tsunade, as she wanted proof, as Naruto summoned the Rat King there. It was then that she summoned Katsuya, and Kakashi summoned Pakon, as they confirmed that this was indeed the Rat King. As he started to talk to Tsunade, he could tell that Tsunade had some other issues, and she was not doing this to her full authority. Yes, she was focusing on her emotional state, as she ended up slamming the decks, but the rat poofed away already. As light then came back on, as she saw the state Naruto was in, as she quickly rushed into the hospital. As Shizune was going over the paperwork, all the reports, the way Naruto wrote it was just so entrancing, and she couldn't get a good night's sleep because she was up all night reading about it. As she went by the hospital, as Naruto was strapped down to the bed, as he came to, as Shizune fed him, and it was wonderful. After all, it's been a long time since he had such a wonderful meal, as she still couldn't believe that he went through that kind of hell for 3 years. Time passed, as Orochimaru base was invaded by root agents. They were sent there, as they were brutal and slicing down everyone in their path. But Orochimaru man started to retaliate. But another group was there as well, a furious big brother who lost his younger brother, as it was Itachi and Kisame, as they slaughter root and sound ninjas. Orochimaru really thought he stand a chance against Itachi, but Itachi put him in his place. And he got the information, he dig it right out of him. As Itachi heard about the ghosts. With that kind of information, Itachi finally ended Orochimaru by using the Amaterasu flames to burn him alive. As they left, as Kisame sunk the entire place with a water jutsu and sink it underground, the water pressure destroying the streams and everything. And with that they left, as he's gonna find this ghost, as his brother was killed. Everything that he has been working so hard for, pulled out of the equation by this ghost. As Itachi, mind was racing right now, there's a lot for him to do. Back at Konoha, Tsunade wanted to get Naruto's mental state back, as Shizune knew that something was wrong with him. He went through extreme torture with one of his clones before he was able to escape, and the information, all that pain was transferred back to him, but he was keeping his mind occupied so it wouldn't affect him. Hinata was shocked when Tsunade wanted her to come to him. After all, he killed him. He killed the person that she pulled strength from. He killed the person she cared about so much, and Tsunade wanted her to come to him. As she was, well, she couldn't say anything at the moment, as Tsunade gave her time to think it over. As Naruto went by the field where Hinata was, as she was always coming by the memorial stone, she attacked him. After seeing him just standing there, she attacked him. But she calmed herself, as she told him that she just wanted to be alone. Naruto was taken out to the village on a mission with Talon and the others. As, given the recent situation with the Hidden Sand, they went to go and check out the Hidden Stone to see if they were building any forts or anything. Getting there, everything seemed neutral. But something caught their attention as Naruto Byakugan saw a flourish of chakra over the other area. As they made their way, as Talon told them, if they're compromised, run. Yes, don't stick around or do anything, just run. After all, they shouldn't be inside of these areas of Hidden Stone. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's what left off. You guys can switch across to the place and check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. The chakra that Naruto felt coming from the other side, it has to be another person like him, as the chakra was similar to the levels that he saw when the One Tail was reforming, as he felt like he had to be there to talk to this person. Then he felt another burst of chakra. That meant there had to be two people of higher power there. That meant someone was fighting him that possessed the Jinchuriki power, or its training was high level and extreme. As Naruto started to climb the slope faster while maintaining as much stealth as he could, he was near the top. His Byakugan could only see a seeping mass of chakra. He realized there could be any number of figures hidden in that valley as he slowed down a bit. While it was unlikely that there was anyone else there other than the two people wielding this powerful chakra, it was still likely. As he saw heat and steam, then there were waves spreading out and water smashing into the heat. An entire mountain was getting built as water smashed into flames. As Naruto saw the one with the fire, he was at Jinchuriki. As Naruto realized this was not a fight for him to get involved in, it was not his fight. The amount of swirling chakra though, it was almost hypnotic. The noise however, it was thundering, as he could barely hear anything, and that left him wide open for any threats. Then again, they were blind to him, as he snuck along the top edges as the battle raged on below. As it seemed to be getting less lava below them, as the steam started to flow upwards, Naruto had to go down to the ground. A massive hurricane wind smashed into the valley, blowing away chunks of trees and rocks everywhere. His radio started to spasm out as he locked it off, as he hid behind the large stone. He then looked up after a few seconds. He was hit by a massive shockwave as the beast below roared. It was a four-tailed monkey taller than a house and wider as well. Two giant fists from the monkey slammed onto the earth with so much force that they became melted as it cracked apart. With the steam and the lava cleared out, his opponent became cleared. A man with blue skin, as he had a blade that was twitching. The sword had the same chakra that meant it was not normal. It was most definitely alive, Naruto could see it. He scanned for other figures and he saw 4. That was a problem. There were only 3 others on his team, and he couldn't tell which was which. With this much chakra in the air, it was affecting his Byakugan. He couldn't risk drawing attention to himself, so he decided to just stay put. The man with the sword was hurting the beast with every swing of his blade, and Naruto could see why. The sword was stealing the beast's chakra with every hit. That was certainly a good weapon to have, even if it was too large and out of his depth for Naruto to ever use. The beast was also shedding blood from gash wounds. It was getting weaker as he tried to strike the man over and over again, but it was too slow at this point, as the man was blocking it in, as Naruto wondered why the beast didn't just run away. He checked his surroundings again, wondered if the figures were closer, but not too close enough to concern him. The great monkey spread lava once again over the valley floor, as it started to falter. The man simply used water from his mouth to cool it down, as he swat around the monkey's fist, and slammed it with his blade once again. As Naruto realized the man was going to win, as Jinchuriki had pushed himself in this fight, thinking that if he released that kind of power he was going to win. But that guy with the blue skin was outpacing him and outstrengthening him, and siphoning away his chakra. The monkey tried to flee away, but that tight wave of water crashed into him with such force he was sent sailing as he smashed inside the valley, his body creating a disconcerting edge. As Naruto flattened himself as the sound started to die down, as he checked his surroundings again, there was a figure not 10 meters away from him. His headset, all that he could hear was static when he turned on. As he crawled back silently and readied his bow, as he threw up his distraction genjutsu. As he looked at the person, he knew now that it wasn't big, the size was too small. He watched walk. The person was walking slow, like nothing was happening. It wasn't here either, but was it talent? The figure was 5 meters away and the steam was so thick he couldn't even tell. The seconds felt tense. Was it talent or not? Yes, and he was safe. No any fire and took the figure's head off. It walked like talent. The figure got close enough and Naruto saw the ropes. As he quickly fired, but the person burst into crows. As Naruto realized now that several figures were around him, and he had nowhere to hide, he put another bolt into the crossbow and created 2 clones to run in opposite directions, as he shrunk back deeper into the rocks. And Naruto was surprised when he got the memories from both of his clones. They both died. His attackers has clones as well, set up, and they had Sharingans that Naruto never seen before, as there was only one person it could be. And Naruto's mind went into overdrive. He had to flee. He would fight if he needed to. He put away his bow and drew the Tonto from his back, as he prepared to deactivate the seal so he can use more speed. Then he looked out with his Byakugan and ice came into his vision, and the world then changed. It was not the valley anymore. As he tried to pulse his chakra but no effect, He was somewhere. He then heard a voice. Welcome to the Tsukiyomi. There is no escape for the next 72 hours. The air in his lungs was punched clean out of him as he fell onto freezing black sand. A figure stood over him, eyes glowing red, like some unholy fire. The voice was slow and resonating, as Naruto felt that chill went down his soul just by hearing that voice. Who are you, little ghost? He was picked up and found himself that he could not resist the man's efforts at all. His muscles feel dead and he could not move. The man knew his moniker if it's not his name. If anything, that was more dangerous. He would not answer though. The man threw him in the air and he was tied to something, his arms outstretched, and he was being pulled. Answer me and this can hurt less. I don't know enough about you to want to kill you yet, the man said. Itachi phased around Naruto. Despite Naruto being tied to the post one way, he could still see Itachi everywhere. It was disorienting. He was in pain, but he had suffered far worse. Through torture, has inflicted worse than this in his training. Orochimaru and his men were still... well, he wouldn't talk about that. 3 years, I returned to Konoha briefly, in search of the 4th Hokage legacy. I came in search of the Jinchuriki that held the nine-tailed beast, and unfortunately, it was too early for such a search. I was found, but I left, but not before catching up with some old friends. As the man kept pacing around him as he spoke, Naruto felt the thing that he was tied to was boiling and freezing at the same point. There was no sign of a Jinchuriki though. By that time, there should have been a 13-year-old running around with the beast, sealing to have him or her hated by everyone. At least, that is the usual fate of a Jinchuriki. Yet after the attack, no baby was shown. No one paid attention to a sudden disappearance at all. In fact, the official word was that the beast was defeated by the 4th at the cost of his life. How noble, how brave. The people ate it up because they wanted to believe it. It is only human of them. They would prefer to believe that their hero succeeded in death than only slowing down the inevitable. A stone throne appeared as Itachi sat down. Yet you cannot kill a tailed beast. Well, not in the traditional sense. Actually, now that I see your equipment, you might know this already. You killed the Sand Jinchuriki. I sense it. Lady Tsunade told you that it would reform. Interestingly, a lot of people knew that, but they all died while traveling. That was odd. Those that did afterward kept that secret to themselves. So when the organization I work for ordered me to search for the beast, but yet the Kyuubi Jinchuriki was nowhere in sight. Who could have hid a weapon like that? Even Zetsu could not find it. The finest sensor in the world unable to find a chakra entity. Impossible. Any tail beast should stand out like a beacon to him. So, where was it? Then a couple of weeks ago, one of our little people in Orochimaru hideout told us that someone infiltrated Orochimaru hideout and killed my little brother with poison. The man leaned forward, his red eyes becoming even more intense and more brightened. Naruto felt like something was ripping into his soul, but he was going to be intimidated by something like that though. At first, I thought something like that is impossible. Not only is a hideout like that impossible to penetrate, but to go through and do all of this in one day, that is impossible. But I heard 3 years for someone to be planning, someone to be creating a poison that can even go past Orochimaru, someone that is deep in poison. A blazing came in Itachi's arm. As Naruto felt that ear was choking him and his head was on fire. So I paid my old partner a visit. It turns out that he captured a clone of the person that had infiltrated his base, and he told me some rather interesting information. Naruto didn't blink as the katana made a few nick cuts as his shirt fell away in tatters and burst into smoke and crows as it left. As Itachi played the tip of the katana on the spiral that rides right on Naruto's stomach. Apparently, the boy had some large seal matrix on his body. A very large 8-pronged seal that could only be put there by a seal master. Skill level of the 4th Hokage, and some other seals that blocked his chakra down to minimum levels. What he didn't mention was this, as Itachi pointed at the memory seal, and it's been used, hasn't it, to seal away some of your memories. Yet, I am not here to judge your failures or what this contained. What could drive you to seal away memories, I wonder though? What could scare someone that spent 3 years in a rat hole of a basement? What caused fear in someone who seemed mostly unfearless? Apparently, while you were being tortured, you didn't even say anything other than your serial number. Itachi walked back to the throne and sat down, cocking his head. Well, you're a mister, aren't you? I must say I was fortunate to find you in the haze of chakra. You're good at hiding, but not good enough. My eyes strip away the illusion and give you a different haze of glow. I cannot fault you for being found by me. After all, I'm one of the few people that can actually find you with these eyes of mine. As Naruto just looked at him, so this was Itachi Uchiha. This was a fear missing nin. Apparently, no one liked to talk about. Well, he certainly loves to talk and pose a lot of questions as well. So now I find that my brother killer is someone I have to capture from our organization. If my partner was not engaged, you'd have your limbs cut off and carried away, nearly dead. Naruto showed no reaction, as he hadn't said a thing yet. There had to be a way to escape this genjutsu. If you think there's a way out of this jutsu, there is, Itachi said. Either I stop it, I die, or 72 hours pass. You cannot break it, your mind and senses are under my control. I could undo the memory eating seal, or have you kill yourself. I've done the latter before. That just meant he has to last 72 hours. That was as long as Orochimaru and his men torture him, before they kill his clone. He could last this. You think you can last this, said Itachi. Damn it, that was getting annoying. Your thoughts are not hidden from me. Your outer thoughts, that is. I can put you in more pain than Orochimaru can ever do, with a flick of my mind. Naruto felt a moment of pure, agonizing pain, as he winced out in pain. That was bad. Very, very bad. But it could be worse, as he felt it. Yes, it can be, said Itachi. Now tell me, why did you kill my brother? He would not yield under torture, as Naruto prepared himself for more pain. I don't want to break you to get information out of you. Tell me the truth and this can go without pain. I just want to answer to that question. Naruto, serial number 002953, rank Chunin. Itachi just sighed, as Naruto felt agonizing pain once again, as it lasts for 10 seconds. Don't just give me that. Give me an actual answer. I could rip it out of your head, you know. I'm not much of a specialist, so once I go through it, not much will be left of it. Just give me the answers, and this can end. But Naruto didn't give anything, he just stood there, tied up to the post. You're stronger than you let on, but you cannot last forever, said Itachi. The man was so calm and in control. Naruto found himself feeling a bit of respect for him. This was how Naruto would have hoped to carry out things as well. Calm, collective, and efficient. The agony went on for a full minute as Itachi was now standing, as the blade was pressing against the memory seal. Tell me, or unleash the one thing that you fear, something that terrifies you. He couldn't face that yet. He knew he was ready. Itachi relaxed back in the throne. Now tell me, why did you kill my brother? As Naruto spoke up for the second time. It was my mission. Itachi tilted his head to the side. No, it wasn't. You think it was, but it wasn't. You fooled yourself. Let's go back, shall we? The memories are already in your mind. Let's take a look. The world spin around, and Naruto found himself in rain. Itachi was floating above the valley in his stone throne, as Naruto found himself unable to control his body, as he fired a crossbow as it hit Baka. He didn't like this memory at all, but he kept it. He relived it and dreamed it before, but never liked this before, as he was killing Baka. He saw himself take one glimpse back before he dashed towards Sasuke, as the world faded again. That was interesting. You kept going on a mission when any other Shino would have stopped. If perhaps you had stopped right then and go back, things would have been better. No, I had to complete the mission, making any sacrifices. Even unto death, asked Itachi. If I had to, said Naruto. Itachi smiled a bit. I wonder, will it ever come to that? Your life or your mission? Although, I think you'll figure it out for yourself. Eventually, you'll find the void in your memory, and you will wonder. I believe the seal will undo itself when you want to remember, and I think you will see everything, and you will understand. But back to the matter of hand, said Itachi. Why did you carry on? It was certainly not your duty, because your mind was in chaos at the time. That memory you were torn, until you find that hiding spot in the base. So tell me, why did you keep on going? It is my purpose. Purpose to what? Purpose to do missions. Purpose to kill, said Naruto. No, Itachi said. You were not doing it out of duty. There was something driving you. Think deep and find the answer before my patience run dry. As Naruto felt his breath coming up short, as Itachi was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. As Naruto wondered why he felt driven. Why had he... The answer snapped into his head. A word he heard and a new definition of, but not the feeling. Redemption. The world calmed down as Itachi was now sitting back down on his throne. His head cocked to one smile, a smile on his face. Good. The slight, constant pain just stopped. He found himself standing opposite Itachi in a void. He was standing on nothingness that stretched for eternity. Now we can talk more civilized. I do not wish to capture you, even if it is my purpose. My associate know nothing of this, and he will not, ever will. Your team know nothing of this, and they will not find me. Do not get them to look. This conversation is between us. You speak nothing of it to no one. As Naruto nodded, one day I will end you, Naruto. You must consider that. For now, consider me your ally. Here's what I'm gonna do. As Naruto stood there and listened as Itachi explained his part to him. Time skip. As rain poured down as the valley was scarred badly by the battle, the Envo team regrouped as Naruto phoned them with his eye and joined them. Here jumped a bit when he saw Naruto. You need to stop being that quiet, lion. Naruto saw no reason to, but he was etiquette to lie about such things. Sorry, he said. Well, we need to start to track them, said Talon. We do not engage, we stay away, and see where they're taking that Jinchuriki. Naruto nodded and activated his beacon. He could see the figures moving off in the distance. As the swordsman had the captive over his shoulder, he moved and the Envo team followed his tracking. As what Itachi told him was troubling, a group of S-rank ninjas were looking for him. No, Itachi knew who he was. At least Itachi was not against him for the moment, as he ducked into more cover as he followed us closely. They were heading south, probably going into the grass. Rain started to pour down as Talon's voice came the headset Naruto regroup. They're heading into the rain, and following there is a bad idea. The rain is not a nation friendly to intruders. Surely we need more detail of the nation they operate in, said Naruto. Yes, but that is not our mission. This is above our skills. We're Black Ops. What level is higher, said Naruto? Politics. We head south into the sand and get back to Konoha as soon as possible. Akatsuki has been identified as a dangerous threat, so we need to get the information back. Plus, the Hidden Stone just lost to Jinchuriki, reporting that it's part of our mission. As Naruto stared at the city that was on the edge of his vision, he could go in and hide, and maybe then you find more redemption. He recalled Itachi's words to him, the man vision and the man purpose, but he had to think logically right now and leave that place alone. As he made his way back towards his team, a winged figure watched him until she flapped off and made her way. The intruders had been spotted the moment they reached the outer edge of the rain, but it took a while to find them. But they left, and she did not need to engage in conflict with them. That was pleasing. Still, the fact that Kisame and Itachi were trapped back to the hidden rain, that would displease the rest of the group. Now the rain undergoes some investigation, from whatever village these group of shinobis are from. They were probably Konoha shinobi, given that the stand barely existed anymore, and no one else had a proximity. The one country they didn't know where the Jinchuriki was at all. As she made her way and flapped her wings, as they break apart and return to her body. As she walked off, before coming to someone else. Pain-sama, she said. Conan, what of the interlopers? They retreated shortly. I believe they were a Konoha Envo team. The figure showed no emotion at all. They are of no concern at the moment. Itachi and Kisame returned to the second Stone Shinobi. We're going to perform the sealing soon. She nodded. They had to gather the beasts for peace. As they started to make their way towards the sealing chamber, underground, the place was vast and empty. As someone else stepped out, he slammed his hand down on the ground. There was a massive poof as a statue arrived, as they took their position onto the outstretched fingers. As Konoha looked at them, she knew them all, but you couldn't call each of them a friend. Akatsuki wasn't really a place for friends. Later, a sorcery. The zombie brothers, Zetsu, Kisame and Itachi. Kisame dumped the body before the statue, and pain began the ceiling. As chakra started to pour into the statue from Jinchuriki, as pain started to speak. Another beast will soon be sealed. What beasts remain? Itachi spoke in a deep tone. His voice just focused on the ceiling. We have now captured the 4 tails, the 5 tails, 6 tails, 7 tails and 1 tails. That means that 2, 3, 8 and 9 remain free. The other members nodded as pain continued. We know their locations, do we not? As Itachi kept speaking, the 2 and 8 tails remain in Kumo. The 3 tails has yet to reform since Yagura's death. And the 9 tails remains hidden, said Itachi, as pain turned towards Zetsu. This is taking you longer than I expected to. The Ninetales is proving to be trickier than we thought. We will find him eventually. He must be in Konoha. Do so. As soon as it's finished, Zetsu. Zetsu nodded. Hold on, Takasu. You will go into Kumo to capture the two tails. Deidara, sorcery. You will travel to Konoha in order to obtain information about the Ninetales with Zetsu. You may use whatever force you need to. Deidara looked very pleased about that, as he could use whatever forces he need to. Itachi, Kisame. Your job will be to capture the Ninetales. Should Deidara and Sorcerer draw it out and fail to capture it, wait until then before doing anything more. Understood, Leader-sama. The Akatsuki returned back to task. Meanwhile, the journey back had been uneventful for Naruto and the Onbu team, as they moved fast with the knowledge that they now held. As they did not wait at his barge right into Tsunade's office, as he came in on the scene. Give me the damn sake, Shizune. Get the paperwork done, Tsunade-sama. The Onbus paused as they watched Tsunade search our entire office for a drink. Now was a good time to back out and knock politely, but Naruto merely walked in and stood in front of the desk. Tsunade turned towards him. What do you want? I'm busy. Reporting back from our mission, Hokage-sama. We encountered the Akatsuki. Shit, said Tsunade. Tsunade sat behind her desk. Talon, mission report in full, now. As Talon gave the report of them going through the hidden stone and finding nothing, and them coming up on the battle to what he saw. Tsunade noted it down with a thoughtful expression on her face. Talon then spoke about his pursuit and stopping late in the rain, as Tsunade nodded at that. So the hidden stone has lost Jinchuriki. They probably won't tell anyone about that for some time. The rain is worrying me though. Shizune, fetch Jiraiya, you know where to look. Shizune left, as Tsunade sit there putting her fingers together in thought. We're lucky that no one virtually knows who our Jinchuriki is. Or you might have been in trouble, Naruto. Naruto kept himself in check. He was going to lie to the Hokage because he was for the best. His encounter with Itachi had to be kept secret after what he heard. Indeed. I assume that you successfully remain hidden. Yes, I appear not to have been captured. She nodded. Talon, your team is dismissed. I expect a full written report as soon as you can make it. Naruto, you stay here. The Onbu left. Talon looked at Naruto, who wasn't looking. As Tsunade leaned over decks, he kept his eyes on her. I read your report. I scarcely believe it. But Shizune, I read the thing 3 times over. However, we're both dissatisfied with it. Shizune, because you want more of it to read, and me, because something is missing from it. The document covered my entire time in the base. Tsunade smiled. I need to know what happened on the way back when Hinata's team found you. They found you having some sort of seizure in the forest before you blacked out. What happened then? Without those final few hours, the report is currently incomplete. As you remember, he was running through the forest because he was unsure of what territory he was in, running like an army was chasing him. Then the Shadow Clone had burst, and Naruto. He regained his focus and control himself. I was returning from the base and I was unsure of the territory I was in. I was hoping to reach a major road so I would navigate back to Konoha. As Shadow Clone I had in Orochimaru base expired, and that must have prompted my reaction. Must have, said Tsunade. You sound unsure about this. I am unsure, Hokage-sama. My memory of the event is hazy. The Shadow Clone had been under torture from Orochimaru forces. He felt the pain in his side flaring up again. But trying to hide something like that from the best men in the world wasn't going to work. Tsunade advanced on him swiftly. Show me your side. As he raised his shirt and felt a chill air hit the burning flesh, it felt uncomfortable. He heard the intake of breath as she examined his side. She drew back, her face turned away from him and she was shaking. He realized she was shaking. You idiot. You used it. You used a seal. You did that. And you don't even know what caused you to do it. You took the easy way out. Jiraiya is going to remove that seal. And you're going to face that memory. As Naruto was not expecting that, as he shook a bit. As for the first time, Naruto raised his voice loud. If I am hiding from it, how bad do you think it is? I can remember all the torture inflicted on me by Orochimaru torturers. What can be worse than that? As he heard his voice echo around the room, as he realized he shouted, Tsunade stopped walking away as she looked into his eyes. I don't know, she said. But whatever it is, keeping it in is going to be worse for you. From what Jiraiya has told me, that seal can be broken accidentally if you dwell on it too much. If that happened on the mission, you will experience it again. And that will get you killed. Until you deal with it, you will not go on missions. As Naruto didn't want to be here, he didn't want to be in this conversation, he didn't want to hear anymore. As he rushed away, as he made his way through one of the windows, Tsunade's fist impacted the floorboard. As Shizune rushed inside after a while. Tsunade-sama, what is it? He's out there, Shizune, and he's scared. Get Kakashi, Anko, and Talon. Search for him now. Also, fetch me Team 8. Who? Just do it. I made a terrible mistake. Shizune quickly ran off. He kept running. He didn't know where he was going, but he just kept on running, as he knew that someone is going to try and follow him, as he dropped a scent bomb and went through it half a dozen times before he rushed off. As he made his way towards the training ground, lots of cover, lots of space, easy to see people coming, lots and lots of places to hide, lots of places to be alone. 3 branches snapped as he barreled through them. He will not be caught, it doesn't matter, he can heal. He was angrier than ever before, and the restriction from the sea was working overtime as it was quelling something that was building up inside of him. As his hands reached the grip of his Tonto and he felt good, when did he last had a chance to train? As he saw a training log near the edge, he twisted left and right as he slashed furiously. Tall, short, each cut made to strike a vital area precisely. As he continued to slice away his blade, tearing into the wood every time, the once perfect surface was soon covered in slices and cuts. His arms started tired as he placed back away the Tonto, as he started performing his limited taijutsu knowledge. As he sent kick after kick in the post, spinning and ducking. Then he felt something as he spun around and lashed out. But the person blocked his attack. Whoever this was, they were going to be fighting him, as he tried to sweep their foot away, but they jumped over it. As he lashed out another fist, but his fist was caught, and a strike came at him, but he twisted his body and came out of the hole. The person flipped and kicked him right in the stomach, as he pulled out his Tonto once again, as the figure was coming towards him once again. The person hit him in the arm, and his arm felt numb, but he grabbed their shirt and pulled them over him, as he threw her, as she bounced off the ground and flipped back to her feet. The person was speaking to him and trying to say something, but his mind was not processing the words. Something in his belly felt hot and angry. His main seal was doing something, as he heard a low growl in his subconscious. He looked at the person start to attack him once again. He realized who it was just in time to be struck by a series of gentle fist strikes, as he fell back with a grunt of pain, as a person stood over him. The face in front of him looked worried, just like Tsunade's face had. Naruto-kun, sorry about the attack, but I didn't want you to hurt yourself. I heard you training and I look. It was the same thing he did when he was angry. As Naruto had remembered seeing Baka doing something similar. As he started to feel his wounds, she was healing them. Once his arm was able to move again, he reached into his pouch as he pulled out a cream. There was so little left. 3 years, he must have had some scrapes and cut in that time, but he kept on using it. As the pain subsided a bit in his hands, he fell back and sat down. As Hinata sit down next to him, what's wrong? I am angry. I have never felt this uncontrolled before. I am calmer, but I lost control for the second time. The first time I killed him, the second I tried to kill you again. I'm sorry. She knew he was even looking at her, as she saw something glisten right at his eye. Her visit had been interrupted by the noise that he was making, and she went to see what it was. Anger is not a nice place to be. It is not. It is like the feeling I have about some of my kills. Which one? She said. It was nearly 10 years ago now. Her face. I remember her face. Tell me, she said. All of it. He felt like he had to. The voice compelled him to speak. I was on one of my earlier missions. It's a border post, the Kumo hole up to the north. It was a couple years after the incident where they attempted to kidnap the Hyuga heirs. Something clicked in his mind. That was you, was it not? As she nodded. Apparently, the commander of the post was stirring up trouble and conducting some raids in Konoha territory. 3 civilians dead in an outskirt town, too remote for us to properly defend it. I was dispatched to deal with the threat. I infiltrate the post, and I was supposed to kill the man while he was sleeping. Even the best shinobi sleep and cannot react fast enough to a crossbow bolt 2 feet away. It took a day to get in position, and on the second night I put a bolt into his head. Barely a noise, he was dead, and I made to escape. I was young. I made a mistake that came with inexperience. I didn't see her coming into the room. She was a simple maid. She hadn't been sleeping and she heard the soft noise. I guess know that she might have had some form of relationship to the man. It didn't matter. She walked in and she saw me. She saw the body. There was a lot of blood. I was lucky that it took her a moment to process the scene. My crossbow wasn't within easy reach, so I had to attack with a kunai. She screamed just before I got the strike in. She didn't resist. It took 3 stabs to kill her. That was 3, too many. It should have been 1 across her throat and... Hinata held up a hand. Just skip the description, please. Naruto nodded. I panicked and heard her scream and I saw her face. There was more blood. I had to hide quickly before the rest of the garrison awoke. I could have died easily that night, but I lived. I lived because I could hide. You remember her though, said Hinata. Yes, every time I hear a scream from a woman, I am reminded of it, he said. I am reminded of her pain and my failure, and the first time I felt fear. I do not feel it often. He felt Hinata stiffen and her head turned. He activated his Byakugan. Approaching was Shino and Kiba. As he was going to move, but Hinata grabbed his arm. Shino will stop Kiba from interfering if we're not fighting. He will understand, she said. I do not wish to be found. She smiled a bit. Surely being found is okay if they do not talk to you. He considered it. As he saw them come into eye range. As Kiba paused, Shino then turned him away. Your knowledge of your teammates is on point, said Naruto. I've known them for years now. It get like that. Why were you angry then? Hokage-sama told me I was not allowed to take on any further missions because I made a bad decision. Was it a medical choice, she asked, because that sounded odd to her. In a way, I used something I shouldn't have, and it's bad. What did you do? He wondered if it was a good idea to tell her the truth or not. In the end, why shouldn't he? But a figure dropped in the clearing and attacked Naruto in a tight hug. You have a lot of explaining to do, Darkigan. Uncle-chan, please loosen your grip. No. As Uncle realized Hinata was there. Wasn't interrupting anything, was I? Hinata looked shocked and a bit pink. Yes, but it's too late now, said Naruto. Uncle grinned widely, as Hinata looked more pink. As Naruto wondered, why was she so pink? Did he do something wrong? You'll have to ask her about that later. As Uncle loosened the grip a bit, before she started to slap him. Where have you been? She said with a slap. My mission went on longer than I expected. Please stop assaulting me. Why did you escape TNI? How did you escape TNI? Seriously, what the hell? I escaped because I need to report the Hokage. I escaped using my skills and a hench. And I have not been to hell. If I have, I do not remember it. She looked at him and smiled. Still the same Darkigan. I think so. I have the same DNA and limbs from before. Tsunade sent us out to look for you. You seem to find Hinata okay. What happened there? She phoned me while I was training. And then we talked. She's a friend, I guess. Friend or friend, said Uncle. What's the difference? Uncle smiled. He had no idea still. Well, he probably didn't run into any nice ladies in Orochimaru base. Well, friend is what we are. Friends. Is something more special. As Naruto remembered the conversation with Talon, Hinata excused herself already as she headed off. Are you implying sexual relationship between myself and Hinata-san, he said. Uncle grinned widened. That far already? You've only been back a week, and some of that had been on a mission. How do you know that, Naruto asked? A shadow of embarrassment crossed her face. Tsunade-sama? Lie. Was it Talon? As she looked at him for a moment. I'll stop asking questions about Hinata if you never bring that up again. That seemed fair, but her accusations were incorrect. Agreed, he said, as she smiled. It's good to see you alive, although you must have done something to make her angry, didn't you? Hokage-sama, he said. Yes, the floor was in several pieces when we got there, and she was in tears. I think she cares a lot more about you than even you expect. Her response is too emotional for me to consider the correct one. I heard what you did, and it is. You know it is, said Uncle. It is, said Naruto. I do not wish to undo it. You have to. You know it will only be worse in time. Indeed, he said. If you want to talk, come to me, okay? I will, Uncle-chan, he said. As she ruffled his hair. Good, she has a mission for you when you're ready to talk to her. Or, most likely, when she's ready for you. As he nodded. As Naruto went home in his usual manner, avoiding every contact. As his window was repaired, and his place was dusted and clean. But he didn't care, as he just collapsed into his bed. At the office, Tsunade-sama. Hinata, what brings you here? I talked to him. I accept my mission. Tsunade considered telling her about the memory seal, but decided against it. Naruto could tell her that, in his own time. Excellent. The overall purpose is to find out the final days of his mission, which you have not been able to find out yet. Be gentle and careful, and not direct. She passed Hinata a fairly large book. It was entitled, The Tale of a Hidden Shadow. As Hinata looked up questioningly, it's a copy of his report bound into novel form. It's not due to go on sale for another year, but it's a report, word for word. Read it, if anyone asks. It's something I suggest that you read. Your father will accept that excuse. Hinata nodded. The book was quite thick. Also, so you can help him through any other issues he may have. It will also help you as well, Hinata. I'll need you to keep training and going on regular missions as well. I may even add him to your team. As Hinata nodded. Oh, and Hinata? Yes, Hokage-sama. Do not compare him to someone who is not here anymore. It is time to move on from the past. Those words shocked her a bit. Move on? Had she held on? He had been a lot to her and his presence had given her strength. Yes. As she left the office, Tsunade relaxed a bit. He was safe. She was going to counsel him. That's. And she needed to be careful they did not get close to one another until the mission was completed. But still, if he went through torture by the clone, still he got all the memories and everything. What could be so dreadful for him to seal it away inside the memory seal? Time skip. As Naruto awoke to his room vibrating, something big was going on outside. As he got his equipment ready and left in a hurry, first he was going to find out what was going on. He activates Byakugan to see a bloom of chakra erupted from the outskirts of Konoha. There was a large jutsu being employed there. As he checked all around, he then saw something up in the sky. It was a figure on a dragon that was interested and unexpected, as he realized it would take someone pretty special just to attack Konoha like this. Not only was it filled of elite shinobis, but it had a good, intelligent network, and it had root shinobis protecting it. He wondered how odd it is that his former master did not see this coming, or intercepted it. Still, causes could wait. He needed solutions right now. Konoha was under attack and needed to defend it. Whoever this is, he needed to find out what they wanted and get them away from Konoha to prevent damage. As a fireball flew towards the man, as he simply turned the clay bird. As he threw down white objects that exploded. So he was an explosive expert that used clay. There were probably other shinobi suited in the village to take the man on, but he had to try. As he readied his bow and moved, as he attached an explosive to the bow, and it would get the man's attention far more easily as well. As he aimed carefully, taking the wind and the man's slight movement and the gravity, he breathed out. As he released the first shot, the man reacted to it by dropping a little, but the tag exploded as it shook him a bit. But he seemed rather cocky as he threw up again jutsu to hide himself as he moved towards the edge wall of the village. His foe got distracted by more jutsus blasting from below. As Naruto saw the cloak that he was wearing, Akatsuki. So they had come either for him or information about him. As he aimed the bow and released 3 shots quickly. First at the man and then 2, where he suspected the man would go. But the man used his dragon as a shield, the soft clay simply absorbing the bolt. So the man could see if his bolt carried the explosive tags he was observing, but still hadn't seen him. As he moved to another rooftop, very close to the edge of Konoha now, he was almost right underneath him, as he fired another bolt with an explosive tag on it, as the man dived out of the way with his bird. As he jumped onto the wall and ran up, as he was visible here, as he looked up at the man who was looking straight at him, the dragon swooped low, avoiding Naruto's shots. The beast shoot down as it hovered right there, as the man looked at Naruto. Do you like my... He ducked as Naruto shoot after him. As the man jumped off the dragon, as the thing came falling towards the wall. From earlier observation, Naruto quickly jumped back, as the thing exploded and ripped out half the base of the wall and the earth. The vibration shook the stone wall and they started to fall outwards. As Naruto leaped from fragment to fragment as he tried to stay on top. As Naruto replaced himself with some splinter wood that got blasted, as a enormous amount of explosions were down there. The man had placed down clay spiders as they exploded. Come out, come out. I won't blast you to oblivion if you tell me where the 9-tailed Jinchuriki is. As Naruto was slightly hidden in the woods, but the man could level the entire place and kill him in the process. His opponent was cocky and light, big displays of power. That was useful. As he looked at the man with his Byakugan, his hands had mouth. As Naruto was surprised by that. They were eating the clay and then it came out filled with chakra. That explained the explosive properties. As Naruto saw the equipment by his side, he only had so much clay. And consider the density of the clay, he couldn't just prepare it on a whim like that. So his opponent was a long range combat fighter with explosive. The man was simply tossing a clay bomb in his hand with a rather bored fashion. Come on, it will be a blast. Just tell me what I need to know and I won't blow you up. Or maybe I will. Art doesn't compromise after all. As he tossed the thing over his shoulder and some bushes exploded. As Naruto made a clone and backed off. Test the opponent, know him, finds weakness and then strike. As the clone leapt forward, Tonto blade coming down as the man ducked and turned. Oh, you think that tiny blade give you an advantage here? The clone launched forward again, attacking furiously. The man was dodging and he started to look bored. The clone was to make him get angry, work out what he enjoyed and belittle it as best as he could. As he considered the insults that the Onbu team share. Your hands are abnormal, and so is your face. But the man nearly laughed. Is that the best insult you have, shorty? Okay, so physical deformity was not it. As he remembered some of the other insults. Your genitals is so diminutive in stature, and so are your skills. The man ducked under a string and caught the clone's arm and pinned it. Seriously, you're not good at this at all, are you? The clone poofed into a kunai, slipped under his grasp, and then turned back into himself. As Naruto was watching everything as a clone, continued to dodge. As the man then attacked the clone with some taijutsu move. As he tried to place a genjutsu on the man, but he seemed to just make his way through it. As he knocked him to the ground and held on to him. Talk. No, the clone said. As the man snapped his neck, but he moved away. A clone? As Naruto hit him with a genjutsu and whispered all around the man. Yes, was that all you have? Is your art really that weak? What did you say? The man said, his tone becoming rather dark. As he exploded his hands outwards, throwing bombs everywhere. An unlucky Chunin ran out as he got blown away by the explosions. Alright, shorty. Time for you to die. C2 Dragon. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next part of this, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all your friends and social media platform. I'm over now. See you guys soon. Peace.